Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Now in this video, we're going to talk about some ABA terms that may sound complicated, but they're actually really simple. Have you ever been in your child's ABA meeting and heard terms like replacement behavior, antecedent, generalization, and thought, what does any of that mean? You are not alone. As an RBT, I hear from families all the time about how ABA terms can sound like learning a foreign language. So in today's video, I'm going to translate some of the most common ABA terms into everyday language and also provide some simplified strategies you can use at home. So the first term is antecedent, and you may hear your BCBA or clinician say, well, let me take a look at the antecedent. Antecedent simply means looking at what happened right before the behavior. A simple example could be that your child was playing happily, you come in and say, hey, it's time to clean up. They throw a tantrum. The antecedent was the request to clean up. And a great strategy for this is give time to transition, which may be, hey, look, 5 more minutes and then it's time to clean up. And also a visual timer, if you have one. iPads have a timer that you could download for kids, and it shows the clock going around, and it's very colorful and bright, and it ticks. So a lot of the kids that I work with, they love that. And that usually helps with transitioning from one preferred activity to a non-preferred activity. Another term you may have heard is reinforcement. Reinforcement is simply giving your child a reason to repeat a behavior. A great example is your child asking for help instead of screaming, and then you as the parent immediately help. You are reinforcing the positive or appropriate behavior for asking for help and not reinforcing the screaming. You are increasing the chances that your child will act appropriately the next time. A great strategy for this is praise the behavior that is more appropriate and that you want to see again. Don't always point out the problems. Point out the successes as well. You can use terms as, I loved how you waited for that. I love how you asked. Great job using your words. Again, we want to see the more appropriate behavior repeated. So we want to praise the appropriate behavior. The next term is functional behavior. And functional behavior is basically why the behavior is happening. What is the purpose of this behavior? What is the reason? And you may have heard your BCBA or clinician say, we need to find the function of your child's behavior. Now, there are 4 basic functions of behavior: sensory, attention, escape, and access to tangibles. 4. So a simple example could be your child cries every time homework is presented. Now, the crying could look like attention seeking, but the real function is actually escape, because the child is crying because he wants to escape doing the homework. So the crying may look like attention, but it's actually escape. So that's why finding the function of behavior is very important. So a good strategy would be, instead of getting frustrated, try to figure out what your child is trying to communicate in that moment. Asking that simple question can really change your perspective and how you approach the situation. And the last term we're going to talk about in this video is replacement behavior. And you may have heard your child's ABA team say, we need to find a replacement behavior. And replacement behavior is basically just teaching a new behavior that fulfills the same need as the maladaptive behavior or the behavior you don't want to see anymore. So say your child hits their sibling every time they have a toy. The replacement behavior is teaching a more appropriate way to communicate that they want the toy. So instead of hitting, you replace the hitting behavior with teaching them to ask or teaching them my turn. So you don't want to just stop the behavior. You want to teach a new behavior to replace the maladaptive behavior. At the end of the day, ABA isn't about memorizing complicated and difficult terms. It's about learning what behaviors mean, teaching your children more meaningful skills, and incorporating a more functional communication in their daily lives. If you ever heard an ABA term that just didn't make any sense to you, drop it in the comments below. And in the future video, I will translate it in plain English. So if you enjoy autism education, ABA tips, and strategies you can use at home, please subscribe to my channel for more great videos. Bye.